The Kurilian Bobtail is not a new breed, reliably time-tested. Although it has become widespread only since the 90s of the last century. Cats of this breed are friendly, have excellent health and good working qualities. They can be kept both in city apartments and in villages, where they get used to any natural conditions. The birthplace of the Kuril bobtails, as you might guess, is the Kuril Islands, specifically Kunashir and Itcherb. At the end of the last century, this narrowly regional aboriginal breed began to spread in the wake of general interest in new breeds of pets. And she joined other similar forms of short-tailed cats, bobtails. Short-tailed mutations appear in different regions independently, and carriers of this interesting trait become the founders of breeds if they do not have disorders in their genotype that are dangerous to health. This is how the mutant cat once appeared in Japan. The Japanese, great lovers of curiosities, bred the breed of Japanese bobtails, which were brought to the Kuril Islands. Here they, in alliance with local cats, gave birth to more massive and stocky Kuril bobtails. The rock was formed in the harsh natural conditions of the islands, with their cold, snowy winters, strong winds, summer monsoon showers. The cats have passed natural selection for endurance and vitality, acquired a calm character and excellent hunting skills in the struggle for existence. The new breed received recognition only after the development of the standard by the Moscow breeder Omironova and its acceptance by official organizations. The first breed standard was adopted by the Soviet Philological Federation (SFF) in October 1991, the last international standard, in 2001. This breed was recognized by the International Philological Organizations in 1994. The World Cat Federation (WCF) and the International Organization for Breeding New Breeds (FIFE) have approved two varieties of the Kurilian bobtail, depending on the length of the coat, semi-long-haired and short-haired. At exhibitions, these forms are evaluated separately. Kurilian bobtail, breed description. The typical Kurilian bobtail is a hunter cat whose appearance evokes clear associations with the wild representatives of the feline tribe. But the dimensions are not particularly impressive. The weight of the cat is 5 to 7 kilograms and the female is even less, 4 to 5 kilograms. The rest of the cat of this breed is characterized by strong, muscular and short body with a slightly arched back and high croup, which resembles a trot, strong legs, with the hind legs slightly longer than the front ones, and wide round legs, proportional head with rounded triangular outlines, round dense cheeks and a strong chin, small set ears, rounded at the ends. Brushes are welcome, straight wide nose. Widely spaced and slightly slanted eyes, usually yellowish-green in color, tail of 2 to 10 vertebrae, broken in different directions or twisted in a spiral, with a total length of 3 to 8 centimeters. It looks like a fluffy pom-pom due to its extra long coat. The coat is fine and delicate to the touch. In short-haired bobtails, it is correspondingly short on the body, although on the belly and back it is longer and forms trousers. In semi-long-haired, long or medium length, on the neck forms a collar and a frill, dense undercoat. Disadvantages that can cause a devaluation or disqualification at a show include traits that are more common to other breeds and thus blur the boundaries between them. The disadvantages include no tail, a tail that is out of range, short and straight, too massive, or, conversely, light body, excessively short forelegs, narrow and long head, convex cheekbones, a long nose, big and pointed ears, round eyes, lack of undercoat, invalid color. Popular Kurilian bobtail colors. The Kurilians can be dressed very differently, although gray-brown striped, spotted and marble outfits, tabby, reminiscent of wild ancestors, or two-colored, bicolor, with large spots, like in the classic nobles, are preferable. Red tabby and tricolor, tortoiseshell, colors are not uncommon. Completely black and white specimens allowed. A marriage is considered to be the colors characteristic of the Abyssinian, Burmese, Thai, Siamese and similar breeds. Such as color point, with a light body and dark muzzle, ears, tail and limbs, regardless of color. Smooth browns of all shades, for example, like the Abyssinian. Lilac, the color of coffee with milk, varying degrees of dilution. Cinnamon or light brown. Fawn is a delicate beige color, even or with dark stripes and spots. The color of cats is a genetic concept, rather than a visual one. For breeders, the combination of genes that determines the color is more important than its external expression. For example, the Abyssinian cat, which anyone would call brown or ginger, is genetically black. Because the color of her coat is due to the gene responsible for black. But the red bobtail owes its color to another gene, red. White muzzle, chest, belly and socks on the paws are very characteristic of smokers. Moreover, on the hind limbs they can be called stockings. Such details are acceptable for any color and pattern of the skin. Eye color should look good in combination with color. Green and yellow eyes are the most universal ones. For white fluffies and bicolors with a large proportion of white in color, harlequin, band, sky blue eyes are ideal. The nature and habits of the Kurilian bobtails. Like any aboriginal breed, which was formed by the uncontrollable conditions of the natural environment and not by the comfort of the nursery, the Kurbobs know how and love to hunt. As island dwellers, they have mastered fishing, are not afraid of water and swim well. They know how to stand up for themselves when meeting the enemy, but in the house they are affectionate and playful, like any couch cats. This breed easily adapts to new conditions, but is ideal for keeping in a country house, where cats can have fun with their primordial activities and keep fit. We must not forget that one of the main characteristics of the breed is well-developed musculature. The Kurilian bobtail breed is considered intellectual. Kittens are curious, active and easily learn all sorts of tricks. For example, they bring a thrown ball. It is not for nothing that they say about Kurilian bobtails that they are cats with a dog character. They are especially attached to the owner of the house, that is, to the one whom they themselves consider the owner. They can go fishing or hunting with him and accompany him on short hikes. But they also treat the rest of the inhabitants of the house well, patiently enduring even the antics and noise of small children. Fun fact, cats are friendly and get used to the company of dogs and other inedible animals. If a couple of smokers of different genders live in the house, they form a strong family, remaining faithful to each other even during walks. But there are limits to everything, and you should not try to make friends of these born hunters with birds and hamsters. Kurbobs are child-loving, and not only mothers, which would not be surprising. Cats of this breed love kittens no less and can take care of them, licking and having fun with the cat. A commendable custom, given the brutal inclinations of most cats, who easily strangle kittens, even their own blood ones. Interesting facts about Kurilian bobtails. The tail of any Kurilian bobtail is unique, and breeders do not try to achieve uniformity when breeding. There are 4 main types. Stump, vertebrae, 2 to 8 in number, very short and closely spaced, the tail is motionless and knobby thickenings, fractures are felt on it, the whisk is a more common model. The vertebrae are connected in a zigzag at obtuse angles to each other. Relatively mobile, spiral, a strongly deformed tail, in which the vertebrae are located at all sorts of angles, even sharp. Usually it is in the form of a spiral, or hook that bends over the back, or adjoins the sacrum. The joints are mobile, and the cat can even wag such a tail. The retracted bobtail is the same spiral, but located at the end of a straight section of 5 to 7 vertebrae. The tail is usually relatively long and is considered a defect that will reduce show marks. The first cat, which was officially registered as a representative of the new breed, was named Chip-O, and the first champion was Aoke Akuna. The fact is that at first felinology did not distinguish bobtails brought from the Kuril Islands from the already known Japanese ones, therefore they gave them such exotic names. Fans of Kurbobs believe that their favorites are able to recognize about 1.5 thousand words and understand individual phrases. By the way, my yard also perfectly understands several phrases, especially with unprintable words. The sporting achievements of seals of this breed include the ability to catch fish up to 5 kilograms in weight, the ability to cope with a powerful rat and jumping to a height of 2 meters. Kurbobs are very talkative, and the range of sounds they make is extremely wide. In addition to banal meows and yells during a fight, they can grumble, chirp, and whine like a dog. They usually voice all their actions, especially disgusting and loudly reporting the discomfort they are experiencing. For example, sitting on your hands. Pros and cons of Kurilian bobtails. Having decided to have a pet, you need to find out in advance its needs and behaviors. This will save you unnecessary problems. What about Kurilian bobtails? The pluses of the breed include easy adaptability, quick-wittedness and quick learning, activity and playfulness, friendliness, including towards dogs, contact and social loyalty, for example, towards strangers, the fact that there is no need for frequent combing of the coat, weak shedding, lack of special preferences in food, good health, with the right kitten choice, hunting talent. Depending on who and where contains them, the pluses can turn into their opposite. So activity and playfulness in an apartment can damage order, disturb the owner who is busy with business, or is simply sick. Moreover, many cats are loud, even loud. Not everyone will have time to maintain a vigorous physical condition of a pet, play with it and walk it, take it to the country house, or just do a picnic in the countryside. Interesting fact, another problem of apartment maintenance is a fall from a window, which can lead to a cat hunting excitement, which leaps up at the sight of a game flying by. Therefore, in the apartment where the bobtail lives, bars on the windows are needed. Devotion to the owner obliges the latter not to part with the pet for a long time, which will miss him. Separation does not improve the character of the animal, and it can become feral, moody and vicious. For those who leave home for a long time, it is better to get a cat of a different breed, not so affectionate. Breeders of smokers face particular difficulties. Breeding of Kurilian bobtails. Crossing Kurbobs with other breeds is prohibited for the sake of preserving their identity. Only purebred cats are allowed for breeding, that is, they have documents. As they say felinology, no documents, no breed. The offspring of such parents can receive the status of a purebred, but they will receive permission for breeding or go to the class of pets, experts will decide at exhibitions. An exception is made for cats brought directly from the Kuril Islands, Sakhalin, and Kamchatka. They are given a pedigree certificate at the show in the novice class after the approval of experts and confirmation of the origin of a whole bunch of certificates. These include a veterinary passport, transport ticket, photo, and video materials proving that the applicant's parents live in the listed regions. The breed cannot be called widespread, and the reason for this is low fertility. There are usually only 2 to 3 kittens in a litter. The maximum number 5 can be obtained with a successful selection of partners. The initially low population size led to inbreeding, that is, closely related breeding, in which hereditary defects spread. Therefore, there are frequent cases of the birth of kittens with a marriage, too short-tailed or tailless, with a wool structure that does not meet the standard. Interesting fact, deviations from the standard also appeared due to unscrupulous breeders who mated with cats of other breeds and brought extraneous genes into the gene pool of the breed. Therefore, the selection of pairs requires careful study of pedigrees. But mostly breeders have to rely on luck, since the genetics of Kurbobs are poorly studied and genetic laboratories carry out only individual tests, for example, for the presence of the amber color carnelian. It is known that a cat with hemp often produces tailless kittens. Spiral tails are well inherited. It is difficult to predict the results of mating cats with panicles and pushed-back bobtails. Bobtails live up to 20 years, which, however, is typical of cats in general. Individuals from 2 to 10 years old participate in breeding. Caring for Kurilian bobtails. Kurbob is healthy by nature, and if he has no birth defects, then he does not require specific care. All the basic rules of keeping that are suitable for any cat will also work for him. First of all, for him it is necessary to equip places for rest, food, and toilet and keep them clean. A scratching post is also a necessary piece of furniture in a cat owner's house. Now there are whole sets of houses and various cat utensils on sale, but the cat is not interested in design and fashion issues, so he will not appreciate the costs of such a luxury. There is an opinion that cats should be washed, but many dispute it with furious persistence. It can be assumed that free Kurbobs do not wash in water bodies. Despite the fact that the history of the breed includes fishing, a pet unaccustomed to water will encounter washing with a scandal. It is logical to leave them to decide for themselves the issues of cleaning wool, ears, clipping nails and other hygiene. The wool can be combed out in the semi-long-haired variety, and even then during the spring shedding period. It is more important to monitor your pet's health. At a minimum, conduct an annual comprehensive vaccination against viral diseases and rabies. Not only for walking cats, but also for those that do not leave the apartment because the infection can be carried from the street on clothes and shoes. For the same reason, once or twice a year, it is necessary to deworm domestic cats and, of course, freely walking. Parenting and training classes are not considered mandatory for a cat, but the Kurilian bobtail will be very happy if attention is paid to him. In addition, accustoming your pet to commands such as lie down, place, etc. will make it easier to manage. And this is a great achievement in a relationship with such an animal as a cat. Diet of Kurilian bobtails. The food of the Kurbobs has no peculiarities in comparison, say, with the nobles. For them, 2 types of food are also possible, natural food and ready-made food. There is no conclusive evidence for the benefits of either type. It all depends on the preferences and beliefs of the owner. In any case, the diet should be balanced, that is, provide the animal with all nutrients and vitamins, be well absorbed, and not cause metabolic disorders. With natural feeding, the cat should receive a sufficient amount of meat and sea fish, but always with vegetables or porridge. Some experts do not recommend giving milk and potatoes to this breed, although, as many experts, there are so many opinions. Interesting fact, ready-made food is convenient because it is compiled by cat nutritionists and takes into account their different needs, gender, age, activity. Especially convenient are dietary and medicinal feed options that take into account health problems. But in any case, you will have to sort out a lot of brands before finding the right one for your animal. The most convenient option that will suit everyone is a free-walking cat looking for its own prey. But even in this case, it will have to be fed with either natural or drying, so that he knows that he is loved. Additives for removing wool are not relevant in the case of Kurbobs. Whether it is worth giving them all sorts of goodies for brushing their teeth or vitamins, everyone decides for himself. The fact that the food is full and was to the taste of the pet can be judged by the brilliance and splendor of its skin, vigorous mood and activity. When cleaning the tray, it is worth looking into it and assessing the results of feeding. The stool should be neither thin nor too dry. Traces of blood indicate a wide variety of malfunctions in the body, from cystitis to worms and more serious diseases. Diseases and health problems. Due to an anomaly of the tail or some other, smokers are characterized by inflammation of the anus, hemorrhoids and even rectal polyps. This intimate place needs regular supervision from an early age. When cracks and redness appear, the ass is lubricated with vegetable oil or appropriate veterinary drugs, but the main thing is to revise the pet's diet. Because indigestion can be the cause of the problem. Or worms. A common disease of cats, especially sedentary domestic cats, is urolithiasis. The Kurilian bobtails have a more acidic urine by nature than other breeds, and they are usually acidic. But it is possible to determine exactly what dietary food they need when signs of illness appear after an analysis to determine acidity. However, there are feeds with mixed type IBS launched KSD often leads to kidney disease, which requires feeding the appropriate food. But for detailed advice and gaining experience, it is always better to contact a specialist, in this case a veterinarian. The reason for this should be any violation in the pet's behavior, physical or mental. Preventive vaccinations against infectious diseases will save pets from many diseases, viral, including rabies, and skin diseases. Preventive examinations are useful, in which it is useful to check the condition of teeth and vision, which is especially important for older cats 10 years or more. In general, Kurbobs are quite viable and do not have specific genetic diseases. At least identified. Kurilian bobtail, the price and how to buy it correctly. In nurseries, prices for thoroughbred Kurilian bobtails vary from $100 to $900. Depending on the quality of the kitten, its age and purpose. In general, after 6 months the price goes down. But for valuable producers who have already been promoted at exhibitions and have prizes, it only grows. Such individuals can hardly be seen on message boards, and prices are discussed in narrow circles, especially when it comes to carriers of rare genes. The lowest prices are set for pet class kittens, that is, not intended for breeding and neutered. The pet class includes rejected kittens that do not meet the standard and those that breeders want to eliminate as potential competitors for their breeding animals. Buying such kittens is the best option for those who want to have a purebred pet without sexual needs. An even more economical option is to buy a kitten without a pedigree. If in the future it is planned to acquire documents, then it is better to buy a newbie, that is, a kitten brought from home. But if you are only interested in the animal itself and not in its papers, then you should take a closer look at the private ads. Here prices vary from $40 to $100. Important fact, buy a pet at the age of 2.5 to 3 months, but not earlier. By this time, the kitten is completely independent and the break with the house will not become a tragedy for him. They are especially in no hurry to purchase kittens, producers intended for an exhibition career. Such individuals must be properly formed so that they can be appreciated. When choosing a cat, pay attention to the conditions of its keeping. It is advisable to see its parents and other kittens of the litter. The animal itself should look moderately well fed, at 2 months, weight 1.5 kilograms, cheerful, and playful. Normal health is evidenced by dry eyes, a nose without discharge, good mobility and a clean, non-inflamed anus. The kitten may not be perfect, but the cat, like a sofa, is easier to bring into the house than to take out. These animals have an amazing ability to take root in the family and become its integral part. The Kurilian bobtail is no exception, and the arrival of a kitten of this unusual breed in the house may well bring harmony and family happiness to it.